Mandy in St Albans, if you can't afford a toothbrush, you shouldn't have had a child, should you? Good morning.
I don't think any of us anticipated the rising costs. And I volunteer for my local food bank, and we're seeing people turn up who can't afford food at the moment.
Right.
So, of course, they would have been able to afford toothbrushes.
How much is a toothbrush? Have a guess.
About £1?
No. I can get you 2 for 25p in Asda.
Great.
Now, if you're telling me, if you're honestly asking me to believe that parents cannot shell out 25p for toothbrushes, they are spending their money in the wrong way.
How much is the bus to get to Asda in the first place?
I've no idea. Well, they have to get a bus to get there anyway. They presumably they do sometimes go out, don't they? Whether it might be to go to Asda or to go to the post office or to go to the newsagents to buy a newspaper, whatever they want to do, however they spend, or even to walk to the park. They walk to the park via Asda and they spend 25p. And guess what? They've got 2 toothbrushes. Fantastic. If you haven't got 25p, Mandy, give me a break.
Well, the food bank that I volunteer for recently, we had to go to someone's house.
We're not talking about packets of pasta and whatever else.
Sugar water for 3 weeks.
No, never mind. No, it's irrelevant. No, ruled out of evidence. Sorry, ruled inadmissible. Because that's nothing to do with 25p for 2 toothbrushes.
They cannot afford food, Nick. No, they can't afford the energy to be able to walk out of their front door. They can't afford...
Well, then, I tell you what, if you can't afford the energy to make sure your child has a toothbrush, you really need to look to yourself, Mandy. Come on. I'm not asking them to buy some electric toothbrush for $9.99. I'm asking them to spend 25p at Asda. Probably Tesco... Hang on, Laura... Right, Laura's just texted you. No, hang on. Laura's just texted you. Can get
Nick,
one for.
Can I tell you a true story of my friend who went through the same thing as Kate Middleton did when she was pregnant? So she was sick continuously.
I don't know what's this got to do with toothbrushes.
Because she lost her job because she was sick continuously for 30 weeks while she was pregnant.
Right.
At the same time, her husband was made redundant.
Right.
Between them, they have 6 degrees.
Right.
They are very well-educated people.
What's this got to do with toothbrushes?
Because through no fault of their own, they found themselves unable to feed themselves.
Right, OK. But did they have a child?
During a cost of living crisis.
Was the child successfully
at that point,
delivered?
They will prioritise.
Was the child successfully
keeping
delivered?
Their children warm.
Might I ask,
keeping their
madam?
Children fed.
So they have child allowance. Can I suggest that some of the child allowance? Here's a thought. We'll buy a toothbrush with a child allowance that the state gives us. Mandy, thank you. David in Horsham, your view. Good morning.
Morning, Nick. Just keep up the good work as far as I'm concerned. Keep calling out that nonsense that I've just heard from that previous caller. As you say, a toothbrush for 25p. I mean, we've already heard that many local authorities are giving them out for free.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but the idea, I texted in because as far as I'm concerned, my thoughts are if your child is admitted to hospital for tooth extraction as a consequence of neglect, then you are guilty of neglecting your child and you should be prosecuted, because I think it's absolutely disgraceful. It's absolutely unbelievable that anyone can have kids and allow their teeth to get that bad.
It does seem incredible. And, David, obviously I don't need to say that I agree with everything you're saying. Let's just feature some of the other emails. Sue in Perthshire, you can buy a toothbrush for 25p from most supermarkets. You can buy 10 for $2.99 on eBay. There's so many places you can get cheap toothbrushes and toothpaste for 90p. Well, we've already checked. You can get toothpaste in Aldi, and I'm sure Lidl as well, 59p. So, 2 toothbrushes and toothpaste has cost you the princely sum, I think, of 84 pence. Jason Marylebone. Jason, your view on this. Good morning.
I think the way you're delivering it, I can understand why certain people are getting offended. But what you're saying, because I think it comes across as slightly... If I'm going through a really bad time at the moment, and when I initially hear, if you can't afford to buy a toothbrush, you shouldn't have kids, and I've got 2 kids, but you're not saying it in the way that people are necessarily hearing it, and I'm hearing what you're saying. You need to give up something else to make sure that...
What's more important than your child's health?
Exactly, I agree with what you're saying, and I agree with the fact that there's people that have got mobile phone contracts, Sky TV... And they're the ones that are saying, I can't afford a toothbrush.
In fairness, we don't know. But the idea that people don't have the energy to walk to Asda, well, you don't have the energy to raise children then, do you?
Well, of course. I mean, but there's always going to be idiots that are going to come out and say stupid things. And that's one of those stupid things that we've got to listen to. But I understand what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. And I actually believe if you can't afford a toothbrush, I do believe if you went into an average dentist, they'd probably give you one if you stood there and said, I can't afford a toothbrush for my child. But at 25p to a pound, there isn't an excuse. It's just bone idle laziness. That's all it is.
And also priorities, Jason, isn't it? Because I'm not going to say that because I don't believe for one moment that everybody's got widescreen TVs or all smoking 50 cigarettes a day. But they must have money just to get up in the morning and to buy a pint of milk or whatever. Well, just get the 25p you need for a child's toothbrush. That would seem pretty important to me.
Of course, especially if you're getting child benefit.
Yeah, indeed. Well, of course, that is really what that is meant for. I mean, it pretty much says what it's needed on the tin, doesn't it? Child benefit. Thanks, Jason. Benefit of the child. Steve in Colchester. For once, I agree with Nick Ferrari. Parents saying they can't afford toothbrushes. People have to take some responsibility for theirs and their children's lives. Not in today's society. Nothing is ever their fault at all. Steve, you know that. Susan in Letchworth. Where are you on this story, Susan? Good morning.
Oh, it's shocking. It's a morality issue. I do think that some people may have ethical deprivation when it comes to more expensive things, but when it comes to a toothbrush, no, it's morality. It's morality. Absolutely.
I absolutely get food banks, and I realise that, and I'm not being facetious here, a packet of pasta is probably north of £1, packet of big orange juice is probably north of £1, whatever it might be, pack of apples, I don't know. I get it. But this is a health basic and absolute requirement that is needed. Susan, thank you for that.